So thanks for tuning into RPG Comedy's first panel discussion. We're bringing back a lot of our former members to sort of discuss the questions that you have submitted over to us over the last week. So please welcome Jeff.
Hey.
Dave.
Hello.
Eric.
Greetings.
Tony.
Hello.
Lish.
Hi.
Perkins.
Hello, hi.
Jill.
Hey.
Winn.
Hello.
Rob.
What's cracking?
And Captain Quarantine, Cosimo.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I understand now.
So I did get a list of questions, like I said. It's just going to kind of be a roundtable discussion with everybody. First question we had was, what was your favorite or most memorable suggestion that you got during a show?
Ooh.
Dave?
Moon boots.
Moon boots. For those of us who weren't part of that, it was in our first year. A couple videos have been posted on Facebook, but Dave, you want to talk about how that came about?
So we were doing, I believe, Secret Agent.
Yeah.
And somebody gave us a suggestion of a secret spy gadget to be moon shoes. Then, continuing on under that theme, we got another game where we played, and they made me use moon shoes again. And I am a rather rotund guy. So, jumping up and down for a 10-minute scene, and then going to sit down for 2 seconds, then jumping up and down for another 10-minute scene, then sitting down for 10 seconds, somebody decided to give out another suggestion of moon boots. And every so often, people continue to throw out moon boots, maybe once a year, Ryan's family, because they want to see my boobies bounce.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but the person who gave it the third time was in Superheroes, and it was Tony who came in right before Dave, and Dave jumped in and was like, "Sorry guys, I can't believe how long it takes you to get here in moon shoes." And Tony says, "Thank God you're here. Moon shoe man." But yeah, Moon Shoe is probably one of my favorite ones to watch. Cosimo. Can you put in some headphones if you have them? All right. I'm just gonna mute it for a second. Yeah, Tony.
My favorite suggestion was the Slinky.
I knew it.
The first year or two, everyone kept after the first time I did a Slinky, everyone was like, "Oh my God, what is he doing? Oh my God, is he flexible?" But then everyone kept doing it just to see me bounce around like some slinky humanoid thingy. After a while, it got a little exhausting.
Yeah, Tony was literally like on his hands, like spinning and doing like cartwheels across the stage. It was the most athletic thing I think we've seen in all of our 10 years. Winn?
One of my favorite suggestions was during a rehearsal where someone said we're having a Ramadan party. It was so good. It was what's the game where we play party?
Party Quirks.
Yeah, Party Quirks. It was Ramadan. I feel like that was like Mikey or something.
Probably.
I think one of my favorite had to have been, it was during a rehearsal, but it was a mess up because someone didn't know what it was. So they did the best. It was with Chris, and it was sit and spin. And he could not, for the life of him, figure out what a sit and spin was. So he was hosting the party, and I think it might have been you, Ryan, who had the quirk. It was party quirks. And you came in and you just, I'm going to sit, and then I am going to spin. Eventually you just gave up and told him exactly, and he still couldn't guess it.
Yeah, I think that was me. I think I kind of remember that.
Oh my God.
Tony?
Another one was it was a game of sit, stand, and bend with me, Eric, and Ed. It was the one, gynecologist's office, and oh my God, that was honestly hysterical.
It's still on YouTube.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. I'll watch it every so often. Just and a lot of times I'll use it as like, this is what this game is, and this is how you play it. Watch these guys, how they interact and sort of do the scene and everything.
Like, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
Oh, like honestly, like I actually showed that game during a class I took in college where I got the idea for my final project, and she was like, "Wow, no wonder you're fucking quirky."
Jeff,
we all just swear.
Sure.
It's not one time, but I do remember there was so many skits or times when we were in such physical comedy as far as Dave goes. I personally remember Dave's butt in my face more than once. It is burned into my retinas now.
Yeah. So I can't remember half of them, but one of my favorite moments was we had Justin as an MC, and he got to play like one game in a show. And he came in doing like themed restaurant. Yeah, somebody needs to put headphones in or something.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't have headphones, you should probably just put them in just to be safe if you have them.
Headphones are your friend.
Yeah.
I will put mine on.
Yeah.
Big difference?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
So yeah, Justin we were doing themed restaurant, and Justin, for those of you who don't know him, he's a pretty big germaphobe. And I forgot who it was, but somebody had walked up to deliver him his food or something and just sneezed right in his face.
I remember that.
And the whole scene, you just see someone sneeze and you go. Like, the whole scene was just kind of lost. Yeah, Jill.
This is, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it's one of the most memorable from rehearsal, and I blame this on Cosimo. We were playing superheroes, and it was, I think, when I started to get more comfortable with improv, and he looks at me, and I don't know if I think I was second or third, and he's like, "Oh, thank God you're here, Queen Queef." The only thing I can think of.
Oh
I looked
my
him straight in the
God.
face and went,
Cosmo screwed me over before too. Cosmo's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here," like taco whore or something. It was during.
I'm so much cleaner now. It's so fun.
Thanks, Cosmo. Now I gotta be the taco whore for like an entire scene.
Probably
Can't say no.
for dinner.
it's like, that's not my favorite, but it's the one I remember the most, because I was like, why would you do this to me? Why?
Because it's Cosmo.
But it was really funny.
It's a superhero no one's ever heard of. So that kind of brings up another question
Great.
that I get asked all the time, almost at least like every other show. How do you think so quickly? like when you get those suggestions, like do you guys have like tips on
Just say yes all the time.
Let's go.
Just do it.
Don't think at all.
Fail a lot.
Yes and is a huge part, and those workshops that Mikey held really really helped out in that regard.
A tremendous help, yes. If you say no, then you're pretty much screwed it all. But yeah, the yes and they did it was a huge pointers as well.
I saw Dave hand up for a while there.
He's still.
There
we go.
Thank you. As far as like the instant thought or the coming up with things all the time, I feel that because we've practiced so much and done it for so long, it is almost like second nature. Like I come up with puns and stupid stuff all the time. My wife rolls her eyes all the time. All of the stupid things I do. But it just because we've been doing it for so long, we've got like a ton of things that in the back of our mind that we've thought of beforehand and was like, oh, this could actually be used. Or like we've always been trained to think quickly.
Lish?
Yeah. Dead air.
Yeah, I was actually going to add off of Dave. Yes, and what I was gonna say is like when we're practicing, because there is an art to practicing on the spot improv, is you kind of train yourself to lose your filter in a way. You kind of train yourself to just say the first thing that comes to mind and not worry about how it's going to sound or how it's going to apply. It's like you've added something. Now it's up to the other person to build off of that.
Jill?
Going off of what Lish said, is you're learning how to find when you get rid of that filter and you get rid of that, like, I have to make the funny line. I had a huge problem with that. But when you start to find the humor in like everyday scenarios between two people that just are funny and relatable, you start to trust the people that you're working with. And then the first thing that comes out of your mouth, because of the scenario and because of the audience watching, you get the comedy when you're looking at it from the outside. But you as the actor, as the player, are just saying the first thing that comes to mind with the suggestion.
Tony?
Going off of what Jill says, at first, when I first started doing improv, I tried way too hard to be fine, whatever. But then Mike pointed out this rule: dare to suck, because there's still a lot of things I don't know about and things I don't know of. So I do something that I don't know of, and then the audience loses it.
Yeah.
So that is actually a huge point, and it helps me out a lot, really.
Mm-hmm. And
Jeff, you got your hand up, or?
Oh,
What the hell is that?
Excuse me.
I'd like to announce we got a whole new sound system for sound effects with RPG Kline.
But yeah, no, it's always been looking for the subversion of expectations, but those expectations are just based on what we live through every day, really.
Right.
It's knowing what we're all doing anyways, like, you know, being inside all the time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, subverting those expectations, making it fun. And I really think that ultimately, as long as you're having fun there too, everybody else out in the audience is having fun. They're going to feel that energy that you're giving them.
exactly.
Jill?
I also do vocal performance and stuff like that. So ever since I was a kid, there would be people, like if I sang the national anthem at a swim meet or something like that, I've always had people come up to me and say like, wow, I would never be able to do what you do. Like most of your audience are either people that also do theater and improv and understand that it's hard to get up there, or the other half of your audience are people that would never get up there because it's not their thing. So when you break it down to that, like you should just trust in yourself, believe in yourself that you're up there. Just do it. You're up there, have fun, trust the people that you practice with, that you work with. And if you haven't found a group of people to work with, check out RPG Comedy, or find people to just play with. Just try out like table talkings and like role playing and things like that.
Oh, that's
or like play online games that you can communicate with people. The more you do it and let yourself go, the easier it gets.
Lish?
And also, when you're just legitimately in the scene and you're reacting the way that you would if this really were happening, sometimes that's where the best humor comes from. It's not from like, oh, let's throw a one-liner out there. It's like reacting legitimately to what your partner is providing you. And you may not think much of your reaction or what you're saying, but it ends up being a hit with the crowd.
Absolutely.
Moon shoes.
Yeah. So kind of going off of what Jill said, that she does all these other things. RPG Comedy, we kind of really focus on two different areas as far as our shows. We've done improv and pretty much murder mysteries, and that's it. Which do you prefer, doing the improv shows or the murder mystery shows? And why? I'm going to kind of give you guys each a chance to chime in here. So let's, I think Eric threw his hand up real quick first. So we'll start with him.
Well, they're both very different. Obviously, one you spend a lot more time in, well, you rehearse for both, but one you've got set lines and a direction to go, whereas improv, it's very spontaneous. And I like the spontaneity aspect of an improv show much more than a scripted murder mystery. But being able to establish characters is a lot easier with a murder mystery than coming up with a 2 to 3 minute character just on the spot in improv. So they each have their own challenges and rewards to come out of them, but I like the spontaneity of improv personally.
Yeah. Jeff?
I personally like the murder mystery myself. I think it's a lot like, I find it easier to work within a set of rules. You know, I've always been really good at taking a character and polishing it. You know, when you're thrown on a stage and you are suddenly told, hey, it's nice to see you, garbage man. I have to go, okay, I'm a garbage man. So do I smell? Am I tired from work? I have to go through a whole process of trying to figure out my character then. Whereas if I can do it beforehand, I can make that character the most amazing character in the world.
Yeah.
But until I get to that point, I think it's really hard to develop characters, which is why I think a lot of other people are great at this. Sometimes, you know, it's a little tiring. But yeah, I think personally, a little bit of structure is kind of nice to help guide the way.
Bryauna?
Yeah, bouncing off of that, I really appreciated like the improv aspect. I also appreciated the murder mystery because when I had developed a character and I had a structure in line, I was more so comfortable within myself and trusted myself more to even do improv off of that. So like having the lines and then just going off on like a random tangent here. But with the improv, I really appreciated it because, as Jill said, you just have to like let yourself go. And there was one time in the improv, I don't know, somebody had a suggestion and they said sloth. And I think that was going back to that favorite moment was that I didn't have to say anything. I just used my body. And I was just like very slowly kind of, you know, maneuvering through that improv moment. So as again, there are both appreciations for the improv and the murder mystery, but I seem to have a little bit more flow when it comes to a little bit more structure, rather than just letting myself go, because if I did that, whoa, you know, you'd probably get, it wouldn't be appropriate.
Demonetized.
We'll jump over to Lish.
Huh? Oh, I didn't have my hand raised, but okay.
Improv.
Improv.
Improv. Well, I guess based on the answer I just gave, it would probably be the murder mystery. But it started off, maybe I liked the murder mystery a little bit better just because of what everyone else said with the structure. But after having more time to kind of experience both, I actually like the challenge of having to think on your feet and having to do something different without that structure. You just have so much freedom to build something from scratch and really make it your own.
Tony?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Let's see.
1 second, Tony. I'm gonna force everybody to answer this question. So get your answers ready. Tony?
Okay, I got the mic. Okay, well, like,
One more second.
Who's on deck?
I'll go.
I'm kidding, Tony. Go on.
I'll try to be simple. Honestly, it is fun. I like the murder mysteries because it is fun to be structural, come with voices. But knowing me, I am a little more goofy, quirky, and spooky towards the improv. So I am feeling more towards improv. I just heard feedback.
Yeah, I can hear the feedback too,
That was weird.
but it's not as bad now. Okay. So I started my time with RPG in the murder mystery. I was asked to come in because a role needed to be filled, and I thought that that's all I was going to do. And because I'm very much an overthinker and an angry perfectionist, but the improv, like I said before, with trusting the people that you work with, the people that I've been able to meet in RPG are still lifelong friends of mine. Just with the right group of people, it's so much fun to just lose yourself in a scene, even if it's dumb, even if it doesn't come out how you wanted it to at the end of the day or at the end of the scene. It's still just so much fun to play around with characters and then be done with it. And you still get that with a murder mystery, but it's a longer term commitment. So I do love the murder mysteries. They're so much fun. I love getting into character for those, but I didn't think today that I would be a person that would say that I really enjoy and love improv as much as I do.
So I feel like Jill's like a professional at this whole. Yeah. Go,
I think
CC.
what Joe just said made it formulate in my mind why I usually don't like murder mysteries is because of the commitment part. I'm a wild stallion. I want to run in the water. I don't want to be held down.
Flowing in the wind.
Commitment is not my bag. So there's nothing sexier to me like if a scene goes great and we're jiving, everyone's popping off and we're connecting and we're creating there on stage together. That's amazing. And if it goes to shit, it's so delicious to me because I'm like, now whoever is on stage, I'm going to make the audience really suffer. Like, if you think you were suffering through bad stage, now you're really going to suffer, MF. Like,
You're an asshole, Kaz. What an asshole.
And then at least we're going to have fun. But I think the commitment part that I just do on stage is stuff.
That explains all of our spit scenes and slap me scenes.
Yeah.
Winn, how about you?
Oh, I've never actually been in one of the murder mysteries. I've always come and watched you guys though, and I've helped write with it. So I'm more of an improv person.
Okay, that makes sense. Rob?
I mean, sure.
Rob?
For me, I'd probably be more of a murder mystery because I am not great at thinking on my feet because I did enjoy the murder mystery I was in. I liked that. That was cool. So, yeah, I'd probably more towards a murder mystery personally.
So I'm gonna jump into that a little bit more. Rob was in the one murder mystery show, and that was it. But he was always at our shows. So what we did with the murder mystery was we put him as like a
bodyguard,
a fake audience member, and we endowed him as like the bodyguard.
Something like that.
as
yeah.
like a character, and then at the end of the show, the whole time he played off as an audience member, and then at the end of the show he came in and like saved the day. It was
Genius.
I remember it. Tony was the bad guy, and I took that spending man down. It's funny.
No, wait. I was the bad guy?
Yeah,
I think it
you
was
were,
the class
murderer.
reunion show.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
didn't.
too hard, Rob. You can't remember it.
And watching
remember.
Rob, the size Rob is, take down the size of Tony.
That's beautiful.
We're gonna. I think Dave's the only one left, and then I'll go. I'll give my answer, I guess.
All right. As for what I like better, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can say.
Sorry. As for what I like better, I like improv way better than doing the murder mystery. And the main reason is I keep on hearing myself, and it's
Yeah.
sorry. And the main reasoning is because when you're doing I can't. Like, I hear myself and I'm thinking I lose track of my thoughts.
Hold on. It looks
Is
like
that my
it-
microphone? Do I have to switch over?
It might
It
be.
looks like it might be
Is it
coming
me?
from Perkins.
I don't know what's happening.
I have to put you on
I'm
the
like,
spot. I have to put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I
So
just saw
still
the
and
outline
not
coming from your
move.
box.
so
So it only happened like
When I'm
steady through
talking.
was when Dave's talking.
Just straight up when I'm talking for a long time. Okay, cool. Thank God. So, like, the reason why I'm not a big murder mystery fan is, one, I have ADD, like there's no tomorrow. So dedicating myself to one character is really boring. Like, boring for me. Because with improv, I can be multiple creatures. If something doesn't work, that's 3 minutes of a show. If I feel like my character's not working on the murder mystery, which I'm the harshest critic of myself, I always feel that way. But when I feel like my character's not working in the improv show, I still have to be that character for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it just, like, I'll throw a few jokes out and I'm like, oh God, they don't think it's funny. Oh, how do I change this? It's already too late. I already have this whole thing dedicated. And then the other thing that is it's super stressful with murder mysteries. So when we're doing a murder mystery, we have to learn our lines, do this, know our cues, know this. And I'm also a huge I put things off.
Procrastinator.
That's that word that you're
There we
looking
go.
for.
I'm a huge procrastinator.
I get this, Rob.
And so I'll we have to have our lines memorized by 3 weeks. We got 3 weeks. 2 days later, I'm like, how come I can't remember this? So, like, that's always super stressful. But it always ends up being that I have the most fun at a murder mystery. Because every character I've ever played, like, you just talked about the class reunion when I was a female. That was epic. I got to play this girl who was a huge slut. And, it was amazing. It was, just me with a pair of boobs. Well, bigger boobs. I always have a lot of fun. But the problem with the murder mysteries is it's always a lot of stress that comes with it. Where when it's improv, I just go up on stage, I do my thing because it comes off the top of my head, so there's no preparation.
So kind of going off of what Dave said, I absolutely love the murder mystery show, and kind of hate the rest of the process. The improv shows are just kind of very easygoing for me. It's fun to just kind of work with everybody all the time, and come up with new stuff as we're going. But I kind of come from a different perspective too. So as far as like producing the shows, I hate the murder mysteries. I hate them. You guys have never put me under so much pressure and stress as the murder mystery shows. Like, I don't think there was a single murder mystery year where I didn't have a breakdown at some point over surviving that murder mystery show. But I loved them. Like, some of my favorite moments over the years were from the murder mystery, like throwing Tony off of a staircase. The picture that me and Bryauna got before one of the shows, because my character was a serious, like, womanizer, and she's just bent over a little bit, and I'm like,
I miss your facial choices. That's what I miss. I miss Ryan just throwing out a face. Make faces, not choices.
Being Jeff's wife in one of the murder mystery shows.
You were beautiful, by the way.
That was hilarious.
For like my entire life, I wanted to play a female character, and no one would let me. And then the very first murder mystery that we did, I immediately cast myself as a female. That might have been because we didn't have any females in the group.
Yes, I remember
Jesse,
you.
Yeah.
At one point.
But that was so exciting. It was really hard to find female clothes that fit me outside of like the maternity clothes. But it was fun.
Hey Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It was the murder mystery where I died, and we were at Ernie's, and we were outside right before inviting everyone in. And Ryan's getting this mob hit boss, and these two women come up who we think are for the show.
Like they're 70 years old plus.
And we're outside. Ryan's a stoic mob boss. I'm a mayor who knows everyone in town. And they're like, "Excuse me, is this the entrance?" And Ryan's like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "We're here to do." He's like, "I own this place. What do you think? This is my place."
Who do you think you are?
He's totally in character to these two pedestrians who are just here to go.
Was Ryan scaring old ladies?
Because we had a rule in the murder mysteries, for those of you that weren't in murder mysteries before, that as soon as the show starts until like the very end of the show, you have to be in character, and there is no breaking character.
So about 2 minutes of this goes by, and I'm like, I broke character. I'm like, Brian, I don't think they're here for the show. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
Oh, that was the one time I broke character. After like these people were about to call the cops on me.
I do remember that.
I think this guy's my boss.
They deserved it because they gave me the show late. So let me see. Have any of you guys broken a scene before? Like broke character, or just kind of burst out in laughter because you couldn't hold it in for like improv or something?
Improv or in the murder mystery shows?
Either or.
Yeah, improv, like all the time. Yeah. I don't even know what else to say, but if I'm doing a scene with Ryan that lasts more than 4 minutes, one of us is breaking.
Tony, did you have your hand up or?
I did, yeah. Like, it was a show that was for Party Quirks. I remember Cosmo being the host, and I forget what it was, but whatever it was, he was like right in my face screaming, and I was laughing and crying for some reason. I forget what quirk it was, but it was funny.
Eric?
I remember it was a charity show for a church that we did, and Justin it was Party Quirks, and I flipped what I was told to do. I was supposed to be afraid of light, but I pretended I was afraid of darkness, so I took the quirk wrong, and I realized it mid-scene when everyone was laughing for the wrong reason. There's a difference. People are laughing. You'll know it instantly when people are laughing because you're doing something right, as opposed to when you're doing something wrong. And it did not. I tried to flip it again, and then I just had to continue with it because it was not working for the scene. But everyone laughed, so they had fun.
Jill?
I remember we were doing a show-stopping number, and it was with Ed. And I don't remember, it was something about like mall Santas or something about the spirit of Christmas. I don't remember what it was, but it was the very last number. And it was something about murdering Santa. It was really violent. And Mike dinged the bell, and Ed just comes right up behind me and goes, boom, boom. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like almost crying, trying to like compose myself before I had to rap for the very first time and only time in my entire life. And it turned out pretty great. It was pretty great.
I got a couple like questions directed at certain people. I'm gonna get mine out of the way. Ryan, or will Ryan ever do a cartwheel? No. Yeah.
I mean, how about attempting one? That's the real.
I pay to see that. I pay to see that.
It'll never happen until it does, and you're not going to see it unless you come and pay for a ticket to our show.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Ryan, that's a really good idea for like a charity thing. If so many people give so much money in whatever charity show, then
Ryan
you
will
have
do
to
a cartwheel.
Even if it's everybody just like holding your legs and like pulling.
We're gonna starfish.
Nobody said we couldn't cheat.
Dave, this has to be directed towards you, and you'll know why as soon as I read it. How many pairs of clothes have you lost during shows?
I want to say 5 to 6 pairs of pants now, and a pair of shoes.
Almost.
Oh,
no, go on.
For like, I want to say 4 shows straight, I ripped a pair of pants right in the ass crack.
Oh.
One was at a church. One was at the the Black Box Theater, Mount Clemens.
I say a pair of ripped pants. That means you worked hard. Like that's a trophy.
No.
He eats
Dave
hard.
sat down.
One time I sat down.
For like an
Ryan.
entire season, Dave would sit down and then just look at me.
Ryan, that is hard work for Dave.
Wow.
On a more serious note, I got another one for Dave. Dave, who do you love more, Ryan, your wife, or Justin?
Oh, that is so hard. So here's how it's gonna go. We're gonna do
I know
Mary.
it's not your wife.
Mary F. Kill. So we're gonna kill my wife. I'm going to bang Justin and marry you.
Wow. Hey, Mindy, you can come live with me.
I mean, he's M and F'd her, so I mean, what else is left? It's all about the new.
For those of you who don't know, Dave has a weird thing for Justin. He was in the group for like 2 years or something.
I love Justin.
And as soon as Justin kind of left, he decided to try to make out with me every single scene that we were in together. I think there's even a montage that Eric, I think, put together. It's like 3 minutes of Ryan and Dave. Where it's just Dave trying to make out with me.
Nothing wrong with experimenting. It's all healthy.
I don't think it was actually that much, but knowing that there's a 3-minute clip.
It's just like a montage of you chasing me and us getting very close to one another.
Link to that video on this thing so people can hear about it and then watch that video.
Yeah.
Look at Richard. God, it's so old
here. Yeah. All right.
And wait, before anything, Justin, I still heart you.
Like Dave has hosted party quirks, and it was like a morning Justin party.
Real tears came out.
Oh.
I had the next question lined up. I'm sorry, guys.
That's right. That's how you know it seems really cool, bro.
I was going to say, that's how you know we all love Justin. You just can't think of anything else.
A moment of silence. So here's another one that kind of mentions someone, but I don't think it actually involves that person. I think it involves all the rest of you guys. It's, what's the weirdest thing that Ryan made you do for a show? I don't think anything. Like, I don't know if there's anything weird I made you guys do.
I'm going to be honest. It's not so much anything that Ryan.
Oh, no.
Pick me.
It's what the audience made him do.
Lish.
You made me be a naked butt dancer last week.
What? Naked?
Yeah,
Naked butt dancer.
Naked butt dancer was the question. And he's like, Lish, this is what you're doing.
I gotta get the views, Lish.
Yeah. I thought 100%. I'm like, you made her get 100%.
An applicant for that position. I want to apply for that. I want to.
Huh?
When you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to see an application for that position.
You want to be the naked butt dancer?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be it. I want to see an application for that job. That's an interesting job.
Oh. Dave?
I'm wondering how one becomes a naked butt dancer.
Pride.
Oh no, what is Dave doing?
Well, Dave's walking.
Oh no.
For the naked.
Sorry, my neighbor was my neighbor was cutting wood, and I didn't want my neighbor cutting wood. The weirdest thing or the worst thing that I had to do for RPG was eat a freaking large pie from what was that place called? Osher's. In one setting, in literally a half hour. We were filming a role for the Grimm's Tales, and I was Mr. Wolf, and I had to do a pie chart of profit, and I ended up eating this whole pie from like every bit of it, like just shoving it in my face. Then I have to drive home from Novi, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I had to pull over on the side of the freeway to get rid of some of the pie that was in my stomach.
Yeah, but that video was so good, Dave. It was so good.
And it's missing now. All that pain I went through, and we can't find it.
I have the video.
Oh, thank God, you do.
I think it's actually on our Facebook or on our YouTube. If not, I'll post a link to it on our Facebook page. Lish?
I just want to say, like, is anybody going to talk about Dave the cat litter scene that one time? I mean, it just... Oh, now I'm getting the feedback. I guess we're all doing it. The fact that he's, like, rolling over, he's like, cat litter, and he, like, fumbled on him. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. It's worth mentioning, I think. Not sure what happened.
And then what's have you guys ever sustained any physical, mental, or emotional injuries while performing?
Weekly. Eventually you hit a wall where it doesn't matter what you're given, because one of the worst things I had with RPG comedy has cured me of that, because once you've been a twerking rapper on stage, you're just waving your butt in front of everybody, you just learn to get embarrassed. That's your job. Eventually, you push past that, and you can do whatever.
I'm in right now.
Tony?
It was during a murder stream. Wow, that is some serious feedback. 1 second. I'm trying to fix my mic. Give me a second. Did it sound? Is it okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, like, I forget what happened. It's just like during the Summer of Murder Mystery, I hurt my ankle, and I had to rehearse with that bad ankle somehow, but oh my God, it was killing me. I forget how I hurt my ankle, though.
I know how you hurt your ankle.
Dancing.
Break dancing.
You were breakdancing like the day of a show.
It is now a rule in RPG that we're not allowed to do physical activities a week before the show. Thank you.
I think that was the rule.
I forgot about that. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So I don't know if this might be a weird thing or it might be emotional injury. We did a show once at an Italian restaurant. I'm not gonna name the restaurant, but
oh no,
we were playing a game of DVR, and somebody in the middle of the scene broke out into a fight with one of the other audience members and just started screaming the N-word. I think, Eric, were you in that scene with me?
I was hosting that show. So first ever hosted show.
So somebody was in it with me, and the fight breaks out, and whoever's the MC just goes, pause. So as this whole fight is breaking out, I'm like, the restaurant didn't come and save it until like 5 minutes later, and eventually escorted the people out. And after like the commotion ended, the person just goes, play.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you took good charge of that, Ryan.
Yeah.
Diffuse that situation was good. And after that, the show went really well because we interacted with that couple.
Yeah, and then we pulled the African American guy up on stage for Day in the Life of.
We got to be his kids for a day.
And the scene ended with, I mean, you guys know how the game goes.
Oh my God.
But
improv, huh?
Yeah. Here's a good one. Has RPG comedy or improv, or I guess acting in general, has that helped you in real life at all? Tony?
It helped me tremendously. Like,
good input.
Here's your $500, leave.
Sign my name on the check.
When I first started doing improv, some of you may know that I'm not exactly good at the public speaking. Some of you may notice. But over the years, not only I cut back on the caffeine, but I slowed the F down on my talking.
You know,
some of you might notice that.
I do. I know you way back when. Jeff?
You're awesome, John.
Yeah, actually, it's been really helpful. I think a lot of people in life just really want to enjoy themselves. And I think that being in improv, you realize that a really good way to communicate with people, to make them smile, and in doing so, it breaks down their barriers and helps you to Dave's moving. But, that was really helpful, and I knew early on I had a camera. Okay, can you hear me?
I know.
A little bit, and then it cuts off at the end of your sentence.
Oh, don't worry. It was just the boring part. Don't worry about that part.
It was interesting to me.
Oh, good. At least it was someone interested in.
I'll read about it in your book.
Always. I'm always interested.
So, RPG has helped me immensely with a lot of things. One is thinking on my feet. Being such a quick thinker actually has helped me in my job and my work in general, coming up with really good ways of expressing myself or changing a situation when stuff like that happens to me. But what I think is probably the biggest thing that RPG has ever left a mark on was my basement wall.
We put a hole in Dave's wall. Yeah, one of the rehearsals.
Out of all that static, I just heard my wall. My wall.
Jill, and then we'll go to Bryauna, and then we'll go to Lish.
Oh. Just mute me. See if that's the problem. You can mute.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
Okay, and then we'll bring you back when you want to say something.
Yes.
Wow.
We found the problem.
Dumb internet.
I'm sorry. Not you. Internet.
Jill?
Oh God, what was the question? I remember.
Has RPG or improv helped you in real life at all?
Oh, okay. So I don't remember who said it, but it was like breaking the barrier and helping with like getting rid of that filter and learning improv and learning how to communicate better with people definitely helped me get a job in the first place and helped me communicate better with people on a day-to-day basis, whether it was a stranger or talking on a Zoom call right now, learning how to just accept what's coming out of my mouth. Oh, this is what I was going to say earlier. Learning the difference between
Jesus.
Like what?
Nothing, go on.
What's happening?
Who are we doing that?
What's going on?
All right, Jill's a problem too.
Problem children.
And done.
I think it was me.
Oh no.
Tony, is it you?
I think it was me. I think it was my headphones.
Oh, Tony.
No?
All day wasn't me.
No, something's going on with Jill.
It's slowly creeping and taking out our actresses one by one.
It's worse than COVID.
Okay, so it's not my headphones. Okay.
Yeah.
Dark humor.
So as I was saying, Ryan, it really helped me break down just in every day-to-day, like social activities and talking to people and getting over my stage fright and just being up in front of a large group of people. And it also helped me in other ways. I also got to perform with Second City for a little bit on a cruise ship. So that was fun.
We're going to go to Lish and we'll go over to Bryauna.
I'm jealous of you.
Oh, we're not going to Bryauna. Never mind. She was just trying to say hi.
Hi. Okay. Yeah, so improv has helped me in a lot of ways in my personal life. It has, kind of building off of what Jill said, kind of helped me get other jobs. It's helped me bullshit my way through interviews, to be quite honest. Maybe sometimes win an argument or two with my spouse. And then, of course, and then also actually get a job at a haunted house because it counted as previous acting experience. So it got me that, and it kind of already set me up for the rules of that haunted house. So being able to think on your feet and come up with things relevant to the topic on the spot. And just like really getting out of your own way and not thinking too much about what you have to offer and just offering it, you know, a way to get out of your own way.
Yeah, Bryauna supports you.
Thank you.
High five, girl.
Message saying we were all muted. I'm like, did he mute me? I'm so confused right now.
The
Necessary precautions.
so yeah, there was there's a little phrase that a lot of people who have been in RPG has heard from me. I don't care about you, I just care about the money. I think it's been said at least once a season, some seasons a little bit more. But the truth is, without improv, without RPG comedy, I wouldn't have any friends. Because
Fair, fair.
like
I'm sorry.
you guys have been probably the best friends I've had since I don't even know how
Thanks,
long.
bro.
So
You're my homie.
it's
Means
impacted
lots,
my
bro.
life a little bit. But
Yeah, I meant to say that too, and then I got so nervous I forgot. Yeah, a lot of wonderful friends came from this. Absolutely.
Damn right.
Yeah, I met most of my best friends through this medium. It's crazy.
I mean, you guys aren't horrible.
Thanks.
see,
We're
what did
not
I say? What did I say before we started recording the show, the Zoom panel thing?
All right, guys.
There's
you have
one
5
person who
minutes.
always has my back, and then there's Dave. So I have another question here. Oh, Jill, you got something?
Oh, she can't talk.
Hi.
Hey!
Is it okay?
It works.
Okay.
Welcome back to the conversation.
Hello. This is what I wanted to say before. It helped me. So I have a lot of issues with, and I'm working in therapy on this with learning the difference between constructive criticism and being really hard on yourself. And so being an improv in rehearsals, I think something that's helped me so much, and this helped me get a job, and it has helped me with my marriage, even in learning how to communicate and knowing how to approach a situation. In rehearsals, we always went through a scene, and then afterwards immediately went, what worked, what didn't work, what were you thinking when you went into that scene, and like breaking down how we think about things to change how we think about things to get into a better mindset for the next scene or the next time that we get a similar suggestion, things like that. So the constructive criticism and learning how to trust what your close friends and your found family, learning how to trust what they say and not taking it personally and taking it and trying to make yourself better from it. And I think that's been a huge impact in my life.
Yes, definitely.
Tony?
If it wasn't for RPG, then I probably would have never done any of the improv that I've done over the past 10 years. You've literally opened up the world of improv to me, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, mush. But if it wasn't for RPG, then I probably would have never joined the other groups. I probably would have never performed at the Go Comedy a few shows. I probably would have never know about comedy sports, and I will probably never heard of Second City in Toronto. I loved it.
So I feel like that kind of goes really nicely with this next question. And I think I knew who wrote this just because what it is. What would you tell people who are unsure whether or not they wanted to audition for RPG comedy? Or what advice would you give them? We'll start with Lish.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Jill?
If you're unsure because of worrying about like if you make a mistake or things like that, the people that I've met through RPG are some of the most kind, even if we're sassy or we say, like, we joke with each other, it's because we have a rapport with each other. So if we make fun of each other for certain things, it's because we know what's okay to joke with and what's not okay to joke with. Honestly, when you roll into the audition, it's a good group of people, and it's a very good group of people to experiment and to see if it's something that you like. If it doesn't go well and you think you bomb, nobody cares. So just do it. Just try it. See if you like it. And if you don't, you don't. And if you do, it could lead to all of the things that we've all said that we've been able to do.
That cat.
I'm gonna go to Bryauna because I saw her. I think I'm gonna go to Bryauna. I'm gonna put her on the spot either way. Hi, Bryauna.
Hi. So I think like no one knows what they're doing. Like nobody knows what they're doing until they do it. So then at the same time, just do it. Because there's a certain point where like you're terrified. I'm terrified for every audition, no matter if it's RPG comedy or anything. And at the same point in time, like when I was auditioning for the first time and then I auditioned a second time, I got more comfortable with it, yes, but at the same time, everyone's here and like, I'm trying to say this, like you're there to give something and what you give is enough. Maybe if you just believe that, then you're like, let's sail on through this and be able to laugh at yourself because that's extremely helpful.
That's
Really
yeah. What you're giving is enough. That's great. It's enough.
Yeah. So, gotta believe in yourself, man. Just gotta do it. You can mute me now.
Jeff, I think I saw your hand up.
Honestly, if it goes with anything anymore, it's the first time you do anything, you're gonna suck doing it. But I think if you do it, 1, 10, 100 times, eventually you're gonna get better at what you do. And if you truly have a passion for making people happy, getting in front of them and entertaining them and making sure that they are having a good day, do it. I don't see why you would never want to do that. But it never happens if you never try. Failure to try is the worst thing you can do.
Dave?
So what I really like to say is that everyone else has iterated their point that's really well and kind of touched on everything. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just make sure. Touched on everything. But what really needs to be said is if you are afraid of getting up on stage or getting in front of people, you don't have to worry. We don't actually have that many people who come see us.
All right, Dave's facing some technical issues. We'll have to catch back up with Dave if we can get him back on.
I guess.
Tony?
Give me a
Throughout
minute.
this whole hour, I occasionally will laugh out of nowhere, and it's only because I don't know if you guys are seeing the same angle of how Dave and Rob's camera's pointed. I have a very keen idea of what your penis feels like. Looking up, the way your camera's down, I'm like, just so you know.
So everybody has like the cameras, the pictures of everybody. They're all in different spots. But I would love to see your orientation there. Tony?
I need a bit to breathe.
That was on fire, man.
If they say, I want to try improv, I'm kind of scared, I will do that good, I'll say this. Listen, if you want to try, just try it. The worst that can happen is that you're going to fail. But hey, at least you tried. That's all that matters, right?
Right.
Makes you tough, yeah.
So kind of going out on, jumping on everybody's back there about if you're unsure about whether you're good enough, I will tell you that in RPG comedy, we really look for 3 things in the auditions. We look for passion, we look for some dedication, and then we'll look for talent. Talent's always the last thing that we look for. We have sort of established a series of workshops that we have all of our members go through, at the beginning of the season to sort of get them up to the point where RPG and you, the performer, gets to feel comfortable getting up on stage with us. And we've sort of developed that over the last really 15 years, because I've been trying to get this group together back since 2005. But so I just want to encourage you, if you think you're not good enough, I'm not really looking for talent. I just want to, in fact, a couple rules of improv that we have. Rule number 3 is don't be funny. I'm not looking for funny people. I'm just looking for people that like to do what we do. And hopefully we get you to the point where you can do it as long as a lot of these people have. But that's, come to our auditions, please. We need more people. And I know Dave wants me to say this. We need more women. It's been a struggle for the last 10 years trying to get some women up there, because I don't know why, but the couple women here in the chat, I am so grateful you guys came, because I don't have to perform with Dave as much. I will it looks like we fixed Dave's issue there.
Oh God. I think another lady has entered the arena.
Let me tell you, it's not
hello.
very high heels.
Why, hello there.
Oh, it is quite a sultry today, huh?
Girl,
Oh, are we doing cosplay? Hold on.
Girl, you know I got some good looks here.
And I got one more question that somebody had submitted in. I feel like they all kind of go together. But what is the, I'm going to have all of you guys answer this too, just so I can get some footage of everybody answering questions. Okay. What is the best and the worst thing about RPG comedy?
don't everybody jump in at once.
Dave?
Dave?
Okay.
Well, technical difficulty, Dave.
See, told you.
No, I'm kidding. Go on. Go on, Dave.
The best thing is the people like that we interact with, including the fans that we have, or the people that are always coming to our shows. That we do have a dedicated group of people that show up all the time, and they're amazing. Right, I got to say that they're absolutely amazing. But the worst thing is, for me, is the whole. I would go back with the preparation of the murder mysteries. I always feel super stressed during the murder mysteries.
Anyone else got anything before I go? Lish?
Starting off with the worst thing. The worst thing is probably just the time constraints. I mean, yes, the preparation with the murder mysteries, sometimes knowing that you're going to sacrifice a part of your weekend, but the best thing is just everything that it has to offer. It makes you stronger. It makes you tougher. It gives you these wonderful people to connect with, either as audience members or as cast members. It gives you an outlet to have fun and really be creative, and then apply it to your own life in any way that you see fit. It's so multifaceted that even the drawback of sacrificing a little bit of time is so worth it.
Jill?
Okay, I'm going to start off with the worst thing is that y'all have to be in the Metro Detroit area of Michigan And it's not my fault that I got married, had a baby, and moved. That's your fault.
Oh.
So I'm putting that on all of you. Just kidding.
I wish we could have moved with you.
Oh God! Well, everybody but you, Dave.
Mama?
I'm just kidding. I miss you. I think the best part about RPG comedy. So here's the best and the worst thing. It's intertwined. That RPG comedy is full of very, very self-aware, imperfect people. That we all come to the table, and the goal. RPG comedy started out as like a charity group, right? You guys started doing more charity shows than anything. And I think that definitely shows with, like what you said, Ryan, what you look for in people, like what you look for in people to work with is not talent, number one, it's who's going to show up and who's going to work well together. And I think that still to this day, when I look at, when I looked at pictures of new people and videos of new people in the group, even after I left, and meeting new people at shows when I do have the opportunity to come back, it turns into a very close-knit group of people and we're all aware of our drawbacks. We're all aware of the things that we need to work on, and we own it, and we leave it outside the door, and we come in and we're ready to like lift each other up when we need it. I remember my first or second season, and I was having a really rough time, and I think it was Ed and Devin. No, it was the first murder mystery, and I came in. It's like 3 or 4 weeks in. I barely know anybody, and I came into rehearsal, and you could just see it all over my face. I don't remember what was going on. I had something, and I was feeling something, and I came in. And Ed and Devin both swarmed to me, and they're like, "What's wrong?" They're like, "You don't look yourself. Something looks off." And I had a good cry. They were both there. It took maybe 5-10 minutes. And then after that, I knew, like, you know what? These people are here for me. These people are supportive, and it doesn't matter what happens outside. As soon as I walk in this door, I know they got me. Even if I fail, even if I forget my lines today, they know that I've got stuff. And it's okay. And it's a safe space to let that stuff go. So all in all, it's always been a very good group of people to be vulnerable around. So I'm so proud of myself. I didn't cry.
That was my goal for that whole question.
Well.
Anyone else have anything they want to add to that? No, Jeff?
Yeah, like I said, I have to say that the most rewarding, as well as the hardest part about RPG, is just being on that stage. You know, you had a question earlier: is does somebody want to join RPG? Sure, but that doesn't mean that being on that stage is going to be any easier. Sometimes being in front of people means that you have to be willing to be judged by people to see if you're good enough, and sometimes you just don't feel it. Sometimes you don't feel like you have that energy, that you can't meet the expectation that you've given yourself. But that's just being an artist. I've learned that to be an artist is to be someone who will constantly judge yourself to the point where you will never release anything because nothing will ever be good enough. But at the same time, that's also the most rewarding part, because once you go through it, you can reward yourself for the fact that you did it. You were up there. You made that person in the back laugh. Even if it was just that one little guy in the back who just maybe had too much to drink, but you made them laugh. And you made somebody's day better. And at the end of the day, that's the important thing. All right, that's it. Go on. All yours.
I think Bryauna raised her hand.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure, because last time I unmuted her, she freaked out.
Oh.
You're on.
Hello.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I can't really think of a worst one. I think just realizing that it is a collaboration. So if you're off, like you feel off, completely off, there's always people around that can kind of bounce off of your offness and create something from that. So like maybe you're off because maybe you're supposed to be off because you are off. So like then somebody can chime in and be like, hey, you know, I got you, without even saying it, but notice something that you can refocus on. Like, because I know that when I'm off and I get inside my head, I'm just in there until somebody helps. The collaboration comes in and says, yo, let's, you know, just jumps in, you know, so you're not alone. I think that is like a big thing, is that you're not alone. Like everybody feels off, but like Jill said, they got your back, because they want to, like everybody wants to help everyone, really. Like they want this to be a great show. And yeah, I just like that part about it. But it's just, yeah.
Yay.
Eric?
Yeah, I realized I'd never actually chimed in on this question. Basically, everyone's said pretty much what I'm thinking. I think the worst part of it is that it's kind of over for me. I mean, I could always go back to RPG comedy, but for me, it's the memories that it left me with that I don't want to. They've definitely shaped who I am today, and everything I went through, all of the instances and experience I've gained from throughout the years. Because I believe I joined back in 2007, and back before we were even an actual comedy group, we were just doing it as part of a club at college. And all of those memories, all those friendships that I made definitely helped shape who I am today. So that's what I got out of it.
Hi, Cosmo.
There it goes.
Think I might be the only one left. Dave's battery's about to go, so.
Bye, Dave.
Hi.
I will tell you, I actually, I got to see a lot of these questions before we actually started the whole Zoom thing. So,
Way to improv, Ryan.
Yeah. I try not to think of answers except for this one, because I knew I was going to have some trouble with it. And I still really don't know the answer. The worst part of RPG comedy for me is it's sort of a combination between payday for you guys, auditions, and I guess growth within the group, which is probably the reason why a lot of we haven't grown as quickly as we probably could have. So the money part, you guys, I think I've said this every season, you guys have never earned the amount of like monetary reward for doing this that you guys all deserve.
I know.
Yeah. So if you're looking to get rich off of RPG comedy, it's probably not going to happen.
Payment was an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the humble one to say it.
But on the same note, there was so many times where, because you guys weren't getting paid what I thought you deserved to be paid, I ended up taking money out of my own bank account to sort of add to your pay a lot of times. Yeah, I did, Bree. We're not going to talk about that while we're recording. So the pay was always a hard part for me, because you guys really put in so much effort and you guys were always so dedicated. You guys showed up every single week that we had rehearsal, even if it was 6 months of rehearsals before we got a show in. You guys were there every single week, and the amount of money that you guys got split was never quite enough for any of it. What did I say, auditions? Auditions are always super hard for me. One, because some of you don't come back to audition, and that's rough. For whatever reasons, and usually it's very good reasons, like you guys moved away, or you got pregnant and married and moved away.
Look at you, Jill.
Yeah.
Hey, I came back and then I got pregnant.
Get it right.
But then there's also the even harder thing that might have happened, where you did come to auditions, but the bar of what we were expecting out of the group sort of just happened to pass you up. And then we had to look and say, I only have space for at most 15 people. So I'm obviously going to have to take the people that I think are the most passionate, the most dedicated, the most talented, and sort of figure out what that group looks like. And as much as bringing you guys, everybody back every single year, no matter what, would have been so much easier for me and the other partners that we had over the years. The auditions were absolutely a nightmare. And then the gross, same sort of going off the audition thing, I think I addressed that too, is that each year we got a little bit better and a little bit better, which kind of caused for select people to sort of not quite meet up at the bar that you guys all set for us. The best thing about RPG, I think you guys kind of wrapped it up. I mean, the whole family that we belong to, the fact that over 10 years of people, we got all of you guys to come back and just sit down and listen to each other talk for a while. And I'm not even sure if you guys all know each other. It's been so long that some people have been here the first couple of years. Some people just stopped these last couple of years. Some people have been here the entire time. I think it's me and Dave, and Tony was in the first group when we first launched it. Just getting to do this with you guys.
Oh, geez. Whoop, whoop.
Represent.
What that was.
But I just want to say thank you to all of our members, especially you guys who decided to come back and sit here and give me another hour, 2 hours, whatever it's been. Like an hour and a half of us trying to figure out the technical issues. And then
hey, we're artists.
Another hour and a half. Like, these people are dedicated down here, guys.
Where geniuses.
You chose Zoom. We could have been on YouTube.
And we could have done Google Hangouts. It would have been
I
better.
could be playing Overwatch right now.
1%.
Overwatch.
So
plays that game.
Thank you for everything, guys.
Thank you.
I hope we get
Anytime.
Thank you, Ryan.
stay in touch. I hope we get to do this again sometime.
Damn right.
And as always, open invitation, guys. If you ever want to come back to the Metro Detroit area and sort of guest star in a show, just shoot me a text or a Facebook message, and we'll work it out for you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before we end real quick, Ryan, I definitely want to get with you after this whole quarantine thing is up. And again, if you guys are interested, I think we could do another, you're on this side of the screen, so I'm going to just rub your face real quick. There, take that tear away. I think it would be awesome if we did another thing like this, maybe with like Jackbox or another just sit down in the future.
I'll be down for that. I would totally be down for that.
I can do that. That's tight, man. That's tight.
Yeah.
We could all get in the same room, some of us, you know.
All the guys are like, yeah, that's tight, man. I'm down with that. And all the girls are like,
Better days.
There, man. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me edit this. Fuck yeah. Let's fucking do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Boy.
man.
Love you, Dave.
Awesome. Yeah.
I think Dave finally died.
Yeah, it
But-
froze.
Thanks, guys. It's been fun. Oh, one last question that just came in. Can anyone burp the alphabet?
Nope.
No.
No, sorry.
Sounds like hold my beer.
Beep. Beep.
We didn't ask you to do it.
Hey, Tony, looks like
Tony's been muted. Oh no, technical difficulties.
technical difficulties. Sorry.
Two-syllable word. Unlucky.
It was a yes or no question, Tony.
Yes, I was answering the question properly.
Fine. No, I can't. I'm happy now.
I'm sorry to steal the spotlight.
Yeah, if you steal my fucking spotlight, I'm gonna mute you and turn your video off.
No DM.
Guys,
huh?
the real answer to the worst part of RPG, Ryan and his spotlight. God.
Ryan with admin controls.
Yeah.
Being muted by my former boss.
But a lot of you guys are coming back for our reunion show next Saturday, which is going to be live on Facebook and our website, www.rpgcomedy.com. And we'll be streaming that there. You'll also see it on our YouTube page. Hope to see you guys there. Hope to chat with you guys again.
Next Saturday at 6:30, right?
Next Saturday at 7 o'clock. The show starts at 7 o'clock.
No, be there at 6:30, Tony.
Be there at 4.
If you're earlier on time, if you're